You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. In today's episode, me and Pat are going to break down what's going on with Chris Paul. Zion Williamson is tripping. And then we're also going to talk about important offseason dates remaining heading into the offseason for the Chicago Bulls. Get into all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Birddogs. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA, and when you enter promo code LockedOnNBA, they'll throw in a free custom Birddogs Yeti-style tumbler with every order. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. Pat, Chris Paul got waived today, which was a wild move to happen when it happened. I mean, we're not even technically into the offseason, but that big chip is now going to be out there for some teams. They go ahead and eat about $16 million off his deal. They still have to pay out $15.8 million on that. Pat, can you ever imagine somebody annoying you enough that you're willing to pay $15 million to send them away?
Well, I think there's still options for them, right? Chris Haynes reported that they want to waive them, and that's probably going to be the plan. But there still might be a situation where Chris Paul is still having dialogue according to Shams, where he might try and come back on a mid-level exception type of deal. It's just them trying to save money. I mean, at the end of the day, listen, Chris Paul is still a good enough facilitator that people want him around. We already know the conversation is coming in Chicago about wanting Chris Paul around because we need a point guard, and he's played for Billy Donovan. So there's that we'll definitely end up talking about at some point. But I think that, when you look at the situation that Chris Paul's in, I don't know if it's a done deal that he's just gone, because if I'm going to get cut and sign for sure a mid-level exception somewhere else, if Phoenix wants me back, why wouldn't I sign a mid-level exception with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton? I guess if they're cool, I feel like they got a little beef going on as well. But I don't know. I feel like more than likely this is a $15 million for you to go away, but you never know. Like, I mean, realistically, are you going to go out there and find a better point guard than Chris Paul, especially knowing that when you look at what the Phoenix Suns have going on, it's not saving you cap space. It's basically just saving Ishiba some luxury tax money.
And barely that on top of that. I mean, I did see that if he is waived, if he clears waivers, and he can go to any team that includes backs to the Phoenix Suns. So, would that be salary cap circumvention? Like, that's just that. I mean, I guess it's all within the rules. It's all in the rules.
Really, because I mean, you still have to give him your mid-level exception for him to come back.
Yeah, so you're doing the same thing any other team would have to do at that point to sign him. So, hey, I mean, if that's the plan, then that's the plan, I guess. But to your point, people are going to ask, so we got to talk about it, Pat. Chris Paul to the Chicago Bulls.
I don't hate it. I mean, it's about how much money he's willing to come for, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mid-level exception, he solves two needs. We need a point guard and we need leadership. I think there's a lot of bad things that come with Chris Paul, especially at this age. But Chris Paul is absolutely a point guard and is absolutely a leader. And I've watched Chris Paul go to two situations and be the reason that those situations had the success that they had. But I've also watched him not be healthy in the biggest moments. So are you paying that $15 million just to put yourself in another situation where you're going to have another point guard who's going to end up on that injured list when you need him most? I guess that's the part that you have to weigh out. Do I hate Chris Paul to Chicago? No. Do I love Chris Paul to Chicago? No. But me personally, I would rather see the Russell Westbrook experiment, but just because I think there's more longevity there. Like, at least then it's like, if we riding with continuity and we just adding a point guard, he'll be here for 2 years. Like,
I mean, I think, like I said this over on Central, like, when you look at what, like you said, what we need facilitating and we need leadership. He brings both of those things in a major way. And I do think he's also somebody that would know how to run Billy's system. And if Billy's system needs to be adjusted on, he'll be able to do that as well. Yeah. And just get the most out of the players here. So, I mean, like you said, it all comes down to the money. If he's willing to come at it like a vet minimum, slightly over that for a year, at least to start, cool. But I don't know if I'm breaking the bank for Chris Paul at this point, which the Bulls really can't do. They only have about $8.5 million at their disposal anyway. So
yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Because we're making a request based on the poverty that we're in. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like, listen, if I'm in the desert and the best water you got for me is the back of the toilet bowl water, I'm not going to complain. But I would prefer not to drink the back of the toilet bowl water.
Yeah, that sounds dangerous.
That's kind of the situation that we're in. I mean, it's clean water back there. Like, it's not gonna kill you.
It's a cleaner situation than Zion Williamson's in.
Well, I mean, listen, you got to watch out for that situation. You know what I mean? That is a dare I say, sticky situation. So I think that we really got to, with Chris Paul, you just got to know how to navigate that situation. And I don't want Chris Paul, I guess, but yeah. I'm not going to turn down a point guard who, listen, again, we've said this a million times. Pat Bev probably not top 30. Chris Paul's still top 20 in the NBA among point guards. Yeah. So I don't know. It's not great. That's what I say on it. It's not great.
Outside of the Bulls, which we talked about a little bit, if he does go to another team, what team do you think offers the best fit for Chris Paul?
Boston. They need somebody to just be like, first off, at a minimum, he can go left. But they need somebody who can just put them in the right position. And I've said this before, right? Like, I thought Marcus Smart has done a good job with it, but Marcus Smart is not the guy that's going to dictate what's happening on the floor. He's not a floor general. He's a defensive point guard who can pass the ball pretty well and can kind of direct people a little bit, but he's not a floor general. Boston needs a floor general. And I think if you're going to leave anywhere, right? The conversation of coming to the Bulls, sure. Should the Bulls go after him? Fine. Put a flyer in. Why is he coming here? That's the part that nobody ever wants to have the conversation on. It's like, the Bulls should go after him. Fine. Why would he say yes? Yeah. Boston, on the other hand, to me, is a point guard away from figuring out how to make those guys work. Now, the tough part with that situation is you've got 2 point guards there technically already, and Malcolm Brogdon and Marcus Smart, who are younger than Chris Paul is, and maybe
combined.
Well,
no, it's not.
No. I had to think about how old Brogdon was. I was like, hold on now. He's been in the league a while now. But I just think that, to me, when I look at that situation, that's a situation where he could thrive in. And that you wouldn't, I don't think you'd have a real problem saying goodbye to Marcus Smart in Boston.
That's fair. I guess we'll see, man. I have my doubts.
Detroit's gonna get him.
That would be crazy. Hey, I mean, he is Monty's dude, so maybe that's in store.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. And you need to teach the young team how to win, maybe. See, look, you may just unlock something.
Just did something right there. Cool, get on that.
Next up, though, we're going to be talking about important dates left in the offseason for the Chicago Bulls. But before we do that, got to talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, and that is eBay Motors. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to my garage and look for the green check to know what part to fill or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring a home when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items, exclusions do apply. All right, Patrick, you got this list up for us, man. Important dates left for the offseason. What'd I say?
Always throws me off when you go Patrick.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be forgetting that's my name. Yeah, man. I mean, there are some really important dates that are coming up quickly, right? Like, it's not like these are far off dates that the Bulls have to make moves by. And I guess let's just run through them and see kind of how you feel on if they're actually going to make that move. Aldo Sumo has to have his qualifying offer extended by June 23rd. We are in June. So, you know, like this is coming up basically what, week and a half, 2 weeks, basically. Yeah. The qualifying offer this summer per Sports Track is valued at about $5.2 million per. Do you think that they let Ayo go out on the market and see what he's valued at, or do they extend him the qualifying offer and try to work out a multi-year deal here?
Well, I mean, qualifying offer, he can still try to go out and sign and get offer sheets from other teams, which we can match. So I think they're going to extend the qualifying offer. I don't think they're going to get an extension done before, so they might as well extend the qualifying offer because, unfortunately, at this point, Ayo is like one of the last dominoes that they may push off to the end because, you know, they're going to try to find their point guard, maybe try to explore the trade market. And then if what they do get out in the trade market or whatever else could dictate what they end up doing with Ayo. So I think Ayo is in for a little bit of a wait there on that. But I think he's going to get the qualifying offer pretty early on.
Kobe White could get his extended by June 30th. His is worth about $7.7 million. Do you think that Kobe White gets a qualifying offer extended?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They already gave it to him.
Go test that market.
Yeah, go test that market.
A couple of interesting ones here that I thought kind of that I guess we talked about, but really have forgotten, right? Justin Lewis and Terry Taylor, both could get qualifying offers extended, both worth $1.7 million. Terry Taylor, I was told by a host of Locked On Pacers that he is the best small rebounder in the NBA, which I guess take that for what it's worth when the Bulls don't play him at all when they need rebounding. And Justin Lewis was essentially the best undrafted piece last season, ended up tearing his ACL while he was with the Bulls. You think either of them are going to be on that qualifying offer? One of them, both of them. I mean, Justin like you're not keeping both of them.
Yeah, it's Justin Lewis. I think you went out there and you got him the night of the draft as an undrafted rookie. The moment he was able to be, you were able to sign him back to the two-way deal after waiving him because of his knee. You did it. So I think, I think it points to Justin Lewis getting that qualified.
He's going to be so interesting because the Bulls are like really big on finding these diamonds in the rough. But right now it's just rough. There's no diamonds yet. They keep looking at these like lower level guys. So I don't know, man. Like I think Justin Lewis is going to be a really interesting one. What do we got next? Guarantees. There's some guarantees that take effect here. I think there's only one that really matters. Like, do we really care about Carlik Jones? We worried about Carlik Jones. Like his takes effect opening night. Here's the one that really matters. Marko Simonovic. His guarantees go into effect on July 7th. He signed during the 2021 offseason, the 3-year, $4.3 million deal. Third year has a $1.8 million non-guarantee. Are you keeping Marko around, or is the Marko Simonovic experiment over so that you can get a little bit of that money back?
Been thinking about something since the last time we recorded. You talked about how they basically drafted Larry Marketing to stash him in the G League, right?
Oh, Marko Simonovic.
Yeah.
And
so the thing so AK basically did a stay-at-home draft and stash, just like with everybody else in COVID. He wanted to keep his work at home. That's crazy.
Dog, it's just I don't know what he's been on the roster. He hasn't
guaranteed spot on top of that.
He hasn't gotten any time in games. Like I just don't know why you're keeping him around. Like, is there a like how old is Marko?
24, I believe.
Right? Like we're getting to the point where like he's old enough. We should have seen him on the court by now.
Yeah, I can't fight that. Like he's 23. 23, yeah.
He's old enough that we should have seen him on the court by now. I don't understand why we're keeping him around, but I guess if you are going to keep him around, he makes an extra 1.8 million. I don't know if this does the 1.8 do anything for you? Like, or is there a player out there that you're seeing at 1.8 that adds to it? You know, like I guess like the Bulls are just in a rock and a hard place. And at the end of the day, you know, these are some of the dates that are out there that, I mean, they have to make moves by, and it's putting the pressure on them. The good thing, I guess, you already know, and you can kind of allocate it, is Derrick Jones has said he's coming back. His player option date is 24th of June. Andre Drummond has said he's coming back 29th of June. At a minimum, do you feel better knowing that for the most part you got your role players in place and you just got to build around that?
Yeah, I mean, there's something to say about that. Like having DJJ and Andre Drummond already locked in, that's important because they're both two players that played important roles for us. Now, unfortunately, a lot of DJJ's was playing backup center because of Billy Donovan, and I hope that with
only in
players,
the second half, though.
Yeah, only in the second half. But yeah, I like the fact that they're both locked in. We know that they're going to be here. We don't have to worry about going out and filling those spots. They're relatively cheap contracts on top. No, they're cheap contracts.
They're cheap contracts, bro.
Yeah. So, hey, why not?
The funny thing about all of this is all the contracts that we just talked about people possibly getting or being qualified to, it comes, I think it all still comes out to less than $20 million. It's like 6 players on our team.
Yeah.
We're not spending money on anybody out here, dog, like realistically. But I will say this, right? Like, I think that bringing back Derrick Jones, bringing back Andre Drummond, I think that leaves certain guys as the odd man out. I think Javonte Green might be the odd man out in this situation. I mean, are you re-signing or extending that qualifying offer to Justin Lewis for him to be in the G League all season, I guess is the only other question. Or do you plan on him playing a part on your roster?
I think that we would know that if he got to play any last season because he was out all year with ACL. So I think next season is going to be primarily a G League season for him.
That's, I guess it's not the worst thing in the world, but I believe he's a little older too, ain't he? Or was he young coming in? I'll tell you what, that man had a nice little. He looked like who was old boy that me and you were both high on that ended up going to was that EJ Liddell?
Yes.
EJ Liddell, he had a little EJ Liddell in him. I'm not even gonna stunt with you. Justin Lewis, good Lord, 6'7", 245 pounds, 21 years old, born 2002, 2000 and.
Oh man, that's funny.
Am I getting old, dog?
Yes.
Dang it.
When you had this conversation the other day, bro. I don't remember what happened, but it was like, yeah. Getting over there, brother.
You know what, bro? I'm not gonna lie to you. You know what made me feel old today? I was watching the NBA Finals, and they had a commercial come on for Haunted Mansion, and it was a remake.
Yeah,
and I was like, I'm old enough for y'all to be remaking my movies out here, dog? Like, yes. I thought we only remade stuff from the 80s.
That's funny, bro.
We remaking 2000s movies out here?
Wait, Haunted Mansion was 2000s? Yeah,
for sure. Eddie Murphy,
yeah,
for sure. Haunted Mansion gotta be. I feel like it's not. It hasn't been long enough. Haunted Mansion gotta be like 2005.
Hey, it's long
like
enough.
We
bro.
Remaking movies like. What was that? 13 years later.
Yep.
That's some bad math right there. That's like.
That's crazy.
That's 18 years later, dang. Dang, I am old out here. When you start thinking about your childhood as 20 years ago, you're like, yeah, man, 10 years ago. You talking about the 90s? Nah, bro, I'm talking about like 2010. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Hey, man, we're going to keep this thing moving along, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Do got to tell you guys before we do that about Birddogs, though. Listen, Birddogs are some of the most comfortable shorts that you realistically can find out there. I mean, I've used them for literally everything. They have a liner out there that allows you to use them for swimming trunks. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. We did Locked On NBA. These apparently are being advertised as you ain't got to wear drawers with them. I'm not. Nick threw that one on me, bro. I was like, you better be wearing drawers with these, Nick. Like, what are we talking about, bro? Like we free balling in the Birddogs, bro. Like, that's crazy out here. Y'all gotta relax. But what I will say is they do fit way better than regular shorts. They're not stiff. Listen, I've worked out in these shorts. I've gone to the pool while I was in Vegas in these shorts. They look good enough for you to wear to casual events. If you work at a company that's cool with shorts, casual, business meeting, all of that over at Birddogs. Make sure to tune in with birddogs.com/locked-on-NBA. You use that promo code and you can get a free tumbler with every purchase. As a matter of fact, I think I'm gonna just buy some just so I can go get that tumbler again. But go to birddogs.com/locked-on-NBA, enter the promo code locked-on-NBA for a free Yeti style tumbler with your order. Birddogs.com/locked-on-NBA for a free Yeti style tumbler. You won't want to take your Birddogs off. We promise you. But if you do, you better have some goddamn drawers on that. It's unacceptable. Y'all out here wearing no drawers with clothing, bro. What the heck is going on here? What the heck is going on here, bro?
You know,
speaking of no draws,
all jokes aside, there's always a topic that literally when it pops up, all I do is think, oh, me and Pat about to have fun talking about this one tonight. And this was one of them, bro. Like, I started to text you, and I was like, I don't even have to text him. He already know, man.
Knew it was a topic, bro.
Zion Williamson, bro. Yeah, your boy out here tripping, man.
Speaking of no draws, I mean, we out here with
Zion Williamson and porn stars.
What's going on, my boy? What's going on, Zion? Hey, this man is dangerously horny out here, bro. Like, you got to be careful out here. Talk about your Grady dick. My God, bro. Like, what are we really doing?
How can you be young, a millionaire, and you shop at the bottom of the barrel, bro? That's like if you saw Michael Jordan walk into a 5 and below and come out with some shoes, you be like, hey, Mike, what we doing? That's bad, bro.
Hey, listen, and it's the thing, bro. Like, you ain't go out there and get one of the new ones. Like, his baby mama, I believe, is also in the game. I guess
in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she a little bit newer out here. But I mean, you out here, you got a 200+ scene star out here falling in love with you. That's a lot of scenes, bro. That's
Bootsy, man.
Hey, listen, all I'm saying is she's been a lot. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm saying, bro. Like, I'm not telling you. And so I'm just trying to figure out what's going through Zion's mind here. Bro. Like, I mean, she been out here putting up Wilt numbers, my boy. Y'all know who Mariah Mills is.
No, man. She put Wilt numbers to shame, bro. Forget the Wilt record. She broke 18 of them. But I don't know. Like, bro, how can you like there's nothing about this that made sense. No. Because when I saw it, I was like, no, that looks like something. He put down the beignet, and I'm going to stop that joke because that was going to get me a place that I don't need to go.
I'm flabbergasted by it. The funny thing is, right, on a more serious note, when talking about it with Nick, and he said he talked about it with Jake Madison from Locked On Pelicans, that there might be a scenario where the Pelicans actually want the Tony brothers. What are you doing here? Tony, you get out of here, Tony. This ain't for you. You've teched up enough people here. Tony, get out of here, dog. What is he doing here? Tony trying to sneak in the conversation. I'm sick of this, man. Tony just always showing his face out here, man. I'm tired of this, man. But the tough part about it is, right, there's a serious situation where, like, the Pelicans might try to invoke a clause in Zion's contract where this is conduct unbecoming of the organization or whatever it is.
Then Tristan Thompson should have been out the league years ago.
Bro, I'm like, bro, like, are they really going to try to use this to get out of? First off, I hate to, not take the moral high ground here, I guess, but it's the NBA. Dudes sleep with multiple women. I know dudes that didn't make the NBA to sleep with multiple women. They just outside.
Exactly. Broke as hell. They still find a way.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. I don't know, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess shout out to
Zion Williamson and porn star
for the new baby that's on the way. You know, there is a child coming into the world, which is a good moment. Here's the thing. Is this really that bad? Like, I feel like it's blown up because of who Zion is, but is this really that bad?
And it's not that it's so it was the initial shock because, you know, everybody feels like they have the right to know everything that goes on in people's lives because of the announcement. But then the following morning, not even 12 hours later, for the Mariah Mills stuff to start coming out.
Yeah.
That's going to definitely make it a story. I'll tell you what, bro.
Here's my question on all of this.
18 tweets about this man. 18 of them.
Hey, that's wild, bro. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Search those, go through those tweets carefully. Because when you get the tweet 19, my God, it's just straight up.
Top it up.
I mean, it's crazy out here. You know what I mean? Like, it's a dangerous game to play. Trying to read through this for research purposes on NBA content out here. Here's my question to you, though. Is this why his legs have not been strong enough to get back on the court? Is this why he couldn't play in the playoffs?
Strong enough.
Is this why he was out here with the limp legs in the playoffs?
You know, brother, I mean, all I can say is that it tracks, man. That's all I can say.
Hey, this is the best part. Do you remember that video coming out where they were like, what's your favorite cities? And he was like, Dallas. And like B.I. and CJ was like, why Dallas, bro? Why was your favorite city Dallas, bro? Go ahead and tell the people. Is Mariah in Dallas, bro? Is that what's going on out here?
I have no idea, bro. None. That's crazy.
All I know is, according to one tweet, there was a video that involved hot honey and whipped cream. And I just don't want to see that with Zion Williamson. So, I mean, he can't be losing weight down there, clearly. You know what I mean?
Well, hopefully it's not as bad as the Spready Gibbs thing from a couple weeks ago. So we're going to leave that there.
Hey, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. I'm gonna get us out of here before we end up getting fired. Big love out there to all of y'all. And also
Zion Williamson and porn stars.
Oh man, you guys can follow me. What's Tony doing up there? You guys can follow me at CEO
Tony,
Haize.
get out of here, Tony.
CEO Haize. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize, and we out here. Peace, y'all.
Peace. Wonder that boy ain't got no knees. $18 tweets though. He doing something right.
That's 18 tweets is wild.